Okay. I'm sharing my screen. Hope you can see the screen. So as you all aware of the normal releases which we are following in our Microsoft project, so those are like a quarterly release, monthly release, and we have production fixes, and a few cases we will be going with emergency fixes. Okay, so I'll be explaining you the landscapes which we are following for each of the releases. Okay, so for the quarterly, so this is the ERP system landscape, like our MS system landscape, and similarly we have a different landscape for the RMC systems also. So if you see the screen, like here for the quarterly releases, we'll start from Dev 1, that is MS1 systems. We'll do the development in MS1 systems. We'll complete the unit testing, and we'll do the review of the TRs, transport request, and we'll move the changes to MSG. MSG is the test systems for quarterly release. And finally, we'll move the changes to MST. MST is the UI system, and then to MSS. So mainly we have 4 quarter releases, which are like FQR, MQR, AQR, and NQR. So earlier we were following waterfall model. So we had only quarter releases, and apart from that we do have some out of cycle releases also. But nowadays currently we are following agile methodology, where we are mostly working on monthly releases. So for monthly releases we will follow the landscape like from MS2. MS2 is the development system, and we'll move the changes to MSU. MSU is act as a both SIT and UAT system during the monthly releases. But for during the monthly releases, what we'll do is whatever changes we have made in MS2, so we'll sync the changes to MS1, MSG, and MST. But finally to the production, the changes will be moved from MSU. In the quarterly, the changes will be moving from MST to MSS, and in monthly releases it will be moving from MSU to, one second. Okay, so similarly for the RMCA process, the systems will be changing. So our DAS system is for the monthly releases will be MP2, and it will go to MPU and MPP. So MPU is your dev system, and MPU is your SIT or UAT system, and MPP production. So this is for monthly releases. Monthly releases as well as production fixes or emergency fix CR. So for all of these releases, we'll be moving in this landscape only. Like we'll start the development from MP2, we'll move the changes to MPU, and then we'll be moving to MBP. So, but during monthly releases, what we'll do is we'll do the sync. We'll sync the changes to MPD, and we'll move the changes to MPG. MPG is your SIT system, and MPT. This is your UAT system. So during your monthly releases or production fixes, you will do the sync from MP2 changes to MPD, and we'll move to MPG and MPT. Okay, and this is the landscape for quarterly releases also. So quarterly releases we'll only do the changes in MPD system, which will get moved to MPG and to MPP and then finally to production. Okay, so every quarter, after every quarter releases, there will be a refresh will happen, and during the refresh all the systems will get refreshed. So like all the SIT systems, MSU, MSC, MST or MPG, MPT, MPU will get refreshed with the corresponding production systems, and your dev system MPD or MS1, MS2 or MP2 will get refreshed with MS1. So MP2 or MS1 system will get refreshed with MPD. So whatever changes are there in MPD, it will get moved to MP2. And till whatever changes were there in production, it will get moved to all your SIT and UAT systems. So during quarterly releases, we have to be so we might be doing some changes. Suppose for example, now the coming release is August release, so we might be doing some changes for August release, right? So in between, suppose we are planning for some changes for September, but we have started the configuration already in MP2, but we are targeting that for September release, and in between our August release comes in and also refresh happens. So we have to make sure that our changes has been synced to MPD. Otherwise, our changes, whatever we have done in MP2, will get deleted because of the quarter refresh. Because till now we haven't synced the changes to MPD. So during quarter refresh, so before the quarterly refresh, we have to make sure that if there is any changes which we are planning for the next release or any production fixes, we have to make sure those changes has to be synced to our corresponding quarterly release development systems, that is MPD or MS1. Am I clear? Surya and Vijay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now Visual Studio is a tool where we are updating our user stories, like our work items, whatever coming. So we are working in a sprint model. So we have a different sprint. Each sprint will have a we have a 2 week sprint normally. So in each of the sprints, so during the PI analysis, like so we'll finalize the list of work items which we are going to work for this particular month, and we'll prioritize that work items. So these sometimes the user stories will be created by the client, like Raghu, Funny, or any business team, or else we'll get the work item from them, and we will create a user story based on the inputs from them. Okay, and we'll prioritize the work, whether it is a priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. Similarly, we'll prioritize the work. Okay, and so I'm just opening a user story, how it will look. So in user story, normally it will have a description phase, and it is a acceptance criteria and the discussion. So here description, you have to mention what is the user story, what is the work item is all about. So a brief description of what changes you are going to do. Okay, and in the acceptance criteria is nothing but, suppose like we there is a work item for company code on company code onboarding. Okay, new company code onboarding. So our description, our requirement is new company code onboarding, and acceptance criteria is nothing but like after doing so and so testing, or like which will based on your acceptance criteria, if that is met, then only we can say that this particular user story we have completed. Okay, so suppose here, if for the example, this is updating one of the role with a contract account display, and this is one, these are two T codes, so they are updating some role with the two T codes. Okay, so what they have mentioned as an acceptance criteria is like the user with this particular role should have an access for these two T codes. So then only our user story will be get completed. Okay, so acceptance criteria is nothing but the scenarios which has to be completed, which before closing the user story. Okay, So normally this acceptance criteria will be filled by the business, or if they have not filled, then we have to make sure that you have to update the details in the acceptance criteria. And in the discussion page, so whenever we have, suppose this particular as user story will be assigned to you, so daily we have to update the status of the user story. Suppose you have done the unit testing, you have done so and so configuration, you have done so and so development items. So whatever you are doing, so you have to update the same in the discussion page, so that whoever is looking this user story will have an idea on whatever work you have done for the particular task. And you have to update the you can also update the user story with your change request, CR details, TR details. Your suppose you have done 10 scenarios of testing, that testing results or the test scenarios which you have executed, so those details you can add as a in the discussion page. Okay. And here if you see the user story points, so user story points is nothing but the effort you have taken for completing this particular work item. It can be 1, 2, 3 based on the days of work effort which you have to do to complete a user story. Accordingly, you have to give the user story points. So normally we'll give the user story points in a Fibonacci series like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 like that. Okay. So normally maximum 13 only we'll give, but few cases we'll split, because in we cannot complete one huge user story like 13 user story points in one sprint. So what we'll do is we'll break the user story work item into two. Suppose we have a unit testing or analysis we have done in the one sprint. So we'll assign, suppose like if we think that is a 5 user story points, like 5 days of effort we need for that to complete, then we'll give that 5 points, and another suppose 3 or 5 points for SIT and UAT complete. So in that ways we can split the user stories. Okay, so whenever you are creating user stories, you have to make sure that you are assigning to a correct area path. Okay, so for different project we have a different area path, and the iteration path is nothing but the current sprint. So here if you see the current sprint is 19.62, that is starting from 6/9/2019 to 6/29/2019. So you have to, so every time in the current sprint whatever work items are assigned to you, you have to make sure that is assigned to the correct iteration path, whether that is in active status. So if you see here the user story have different status. So whenever we are creating a new user story, it will be created with a new status. So whenever you have started working on that particular user story, you have to make that as an active. So, and whenever you have completed the work on the particular user story, you have to add the tag as demo ready and mark this as a demo ready. Then our from leads will be reviewing product owner will be reviewing the user story, and they'll mark that as a demo completed, and then we can resolve this particular user story. And finally, once they get reviewed and we got the approval, we'll close the user stories. And if you see each of this work, these are the user story. Like main is the feature or scenario. So every user story will be tagged to a feature, a parent one. So we have to make sure that it's not a independent user story we are creating. Every user story we are creating should have been tagged to a particular feature or a scenario. So under this feature, it might have different user stories. Any doubts on the VSO or user story details?
No.
Vijay?
I have a doubt. What is the priority manner like? 2 is the highest priority or 3 is the highest priority?
Sorry, your voice is low. Can you speak so loud?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
What is the priority order like? 2 is the highest priority or 3 is
No,
the
no,
highest
no,
priority?
no, no. We have priority 1 as the highest one.
Okay.
Okay, 2, 3, 4. So based on your priority, like if it's a high priority, then you will put as a 1. If it's a priority like that, if it's a low priority, we will mark as a 4.
And the demo ready, should we enter that demo ready or the other person will enter it?
No, suppose if this particular work item has been assigned to you. Okay,
Okay.
this user story has been created and assigned to you. So once you started, you will be, so this particular, suppose for example, this has been created under my name, but I haven't started working on this particular item, right? So once I've started, and if I got all the requirement details, then I'll mark it as an active, right? Okay, so and after completion, like if you are thinking you have completed all the work related to that user story, suppose this particular user story related to your UART and deployment, so you have completed the UART and deployment activities related to this work item, so I'll mark this as a demo ready, as a tag. Okay, so that the business from business side, like Raghu or will be reviewing this user story, and so they'll be reviewing this user story, whatever updates you have done on the description, on the discussion side, they will review this discussions, and if they think that has been this work has been completed, then they will approve it. So then we'll mark the we'll remove the demo ready and we'll mark as demo completed. Okay, and then we can resolve, change this active status into resolved.
Okay.
Understood?
Okay.
Just demo ready and demo complete is just a tag actually to make self ourself and our product owner understand that the particular work item has been completed. Okay, right? Any other questions?
And what is the full form of UAT and SIT?
Okay, system interface testing and user acceptance testing. So UAT is nothing but the user, they'll be doing the testing at the UI systems like MPT and MPU. So those are the UI systems, right? So they will have a set of test cases at their end. So they will do the testing. So normally we'll have a separate for many of the projects they will have a separate UI team. So they from the client side or from the business side, so they'll be sending the data to SAP for to process. So they'll do the testing and they'll provide the UART sign off. So system interface testing is nothing but from our side we have a test test group will be there, right? Tester will be assigned to a particular work item, right? So
SIT.
they will create a list of test cases. So these are the scenarios what is to be executed for this particular work item. So they will create a test plan with the scenarios which has to be executed, and they will create a test evidence document for that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
once we completed the testing, and if the tester approves the testing process, then it will move the changes to UART systems. Then there will be a separate team, UART team, user acceptance. That is mostly it will be from your client side, or in few cases we'll be doing the testing in UART systems, and we can give them test results for to the client for review.
Okay.
Few cases we are doing like that. In few cases we have a separate users team, business side, they will be sending some data, they will be having access for the UART system, so they will be doing some testing in the UART systems for the particular work items which we are doing.
Understood.
Okay, any questions from Vijay? Hello Vijay, are you there? So please ping on the chat if you have any doubts. So I think you got a basic idea on the Visual Studio user story details and how it is prioritizing, what is the user story points like that, right? So I'll explain this Visual Studio, like what is mean by a feature, what is a user story, what is a task. So those I can explain you in another session. Okay, briefly. So now just I've for a brief explanation I've done for this particular Visual Studio and user story details. Okay. Okay, now we'll go through the RMCA process. So RMCA is the full form is Revenue Management Contract Accounting. And in RMCA one plan process, mainly we are working from on the payable side. So this particular project is dealing with the incentive payments to our partners. So suppose for example like Microsoft is doing lots of business with the partners, like they have different products and they'll give their products for the partners to sell, like example, Dell, HP are their partners, and they while selling their products, so our partner their partners like Dell and HP, so they will be selling Microsoft products. Okay, so whenever they are selling our products on behalf of us, so we have to give some incentives for them for the business which they are doing for us. Us means Microsoft. Okay, so in that cases, so that those incentive calculation which we have to do, incentive calculation which we are doing is will comes under this one plan project. Okay, so how we are calculating the incentives, how we are paying to the partners, those process will comes under the one plan project incentive project process. Okay, so we have to understand few concepts like business partner, contract account, bits, invoicing document, payment document. Those concepts are there in this incentive process. So first of all, partner and contract account, those are the master data setup. So business partner is nothing where we'll define the partner details like partner address, partner name, which bank details of the partners, if there is any tax IDs, those details will maintain under the business partner. So business partner is nothing but a master data which will have the details of your business of your partner. Okay, so normally there is a payee onboarding team. So whenever a business partner is onboarding, so normally there is a payee onboarding team is there. So they will be uploading the they'll be onboarding the partners, and we have a MDG systems. The MDG systems will be so there is a partner onboarding, partner or PE onboarding team. So these team will be onboarding the partners. Means they'll be providing they will be providing the details of the partners like the name, address. If there is any identification numbers, like in US and all, they'll have a separate identification number, so that or tax numbers if they have. So those detail and the bank details, those details these people will be giving, and we have MDG team which will be uploading, which will be creating the BPs. Normally BPs are getting created in MDG systems. Similar to our RMC system, they have like DGG, DGT, DG1, something like that, DGU, DGT. So there are systems similar to our. So MDG team will, so once they got the information of a partner, so they'll be creating the partner BPs in MDG systems. So we have, so I'll give you the function modules which they are using to create the BP. So let me open one more document. Yeah. So in one plan process, this is a function module which we are using to create a BP. So now whenever the MDG team is creating, so this particular function module is being called, and they'll be giving this inputs like the BP details, address details, bank details, card details. So based on that one, a business partner will be created in MDG systems. Once business partner gets created in MDG systems, it will flow to MPP systems through iDocs. Okay, then there is a separate team. There's some upstream system is there which will be creating. For us, it is the UST team, so they will be creating the contract account. So based on the contract account is nothing but a agreement between the partners. So a contract account normally will have the details like for which partner we are creating the contract account, from which company code we are paying the partner, through which payment method we are paying the partner. So those details will be maintaining under a contract account. Okay. So I'll display one contract account. So it will be. So for example, this is a partner. So a partner details will contain the name, address, country, time zone, language, email ID. Then the identification tabs will contain the identification details of the if there is any identification number for the partners, it will comes under the identification tab. In the control tab, will maintain the BP type. Like we have 1P is the one plan. So we have two types of partners. Like one is main partner and one is alternative P. So normally BP type 1P is assigned for the main partner, and for the alternative PE we'll be assigning 1B. Instead of P, it will be 1B. So that is BP2. So BP1 and BP2 are the two different types of partners. We'll commonly used terms in one plan or partner incentive process. And authorization group will be assigning. So this business partner concept is there for multiple processes. Similar to one plan, there are Everdeen process, there is a different RMCA process. So to differentiate in channel incentives partners, so we have an authorization group called 1P. So whenever the MDG team is creating the business partner, so they will be assigning an authorization group 1P to the business partner. And normally the business, so this business partner number range, everything is defined as a configuration. So depends on the number range we have maintained. So accordingly, each partner will be updated. Okay, so currently we have been 3 series or 1 series will be there. And if you see here, there is a tab called payment transactions. Here, this is nothing but we'll be entering the bank details like the bank country, bank key, bank account number, account holder details. Those details will be assigning in the partner. So normally this will be assigning in your alternative BP2. And this is the CA creation function module. So this function module is being used by the UST team. So what UST team will be using is they will be calling this function module through a web service tool. So they will be adding this function mode. They have added this function module under their web service, and they'll be giving that the inputs for the creation of a contract account in the web service. And finally, it will, when they are executing that web service, when they are running the web service, it will call the function module from our RMC systems. And these are the inputs which they will be giving during a contract account creation, like the account determination category, the partner for which they are creating the contract account name, from which company code they are giving the payment, the payment method details. Terms of payment is nothing but which will calculate the due date. So on what date you have to calculate the due date of an invoicing document, so that will comes under terms of payment. So we have, suppose few cases we have to pay immediately, few cases we'll say the payment should happen every month 5th, or it should happen based on 15 days from the invoicing date. So all those things will be maintaining under the terms of payment. Okay, so here M25 payment is 19th of every month, I think. So if the bid date is, if you're creating a incentive with today's date, or like less than 15th of this month, then it will have a due date of this month. If we are creating a payment with a bid date with greater than 15, then it will take. So that so how the due date and the invoicing, so when should be the due date, that will come, that will be calculated based on your terms of payment. And the transaction currency is nothing but in which currency you are going to pay the partner, so in which currency you are creating the invoicing document, so that is the your transaction currencies. And account determination ID for one plan is OP. So based on this account determination ID, we will be determining the GLs, accounts and all during your um, invoice creation and all. And here there is a concept of B account class, that is BAPP. So we have three different types of account class. BAPP, BAPC and ISVD. So BAPP is nothing but the budget under a program. So we have a different, so we have a concept called programs like MRSLR, hoster. So these hoster, Surface ADR. So these are different programs in our channel incentives. So normally they are called as channel incentive programs. So I'll be giving the list of channel incentive programs. So this is nothing but different lines of business which Microsoft is doing. Okay. So each line of business, they will maintain some budget. Suppose for MRSLR program, so whenever they are making a doing a business or payment for a line of business under MRSLR from company code 1062, so they will be maintaining some budget. Suppose like $1,000 is their budget. Okay, so whenever you are creating an invoicing document, so you have a contract account which you have created for this MRSLR program, and you have given account class as BP, which means that whenever you are creating a invoicing document based on that particular contract account, so every time it will consume your budget amount from this particular 1,000 only. Okay. And if it is BAPC level, BAPC, which means that the budget is maintained at the contract account level, which means that MRSLR program for company code 1062, we have CA1. For this CA1, we have 500. For MRSLR 62, a different CA, we have 350. So whenever you're creating an invoicing for this particular contract account, so it will consume the budget from this particular 500 only. It will not consume from this 350 or from this 1,000. So normally our contract accounts will be maintained under a program level budget only. Few cases only I have seen there have been contracts which has been created under budget under program under contract account. Okay, see budget I mean budget concept, I'll there is a different concept, so I'll be explaining how it is being calculated in the coming sessions. So for now you just understand that for every lines of business they have maintained some budgets, and how the budget should be used is that is based on the account class in your contract account creation. So if it is a BAPP account class, which means that the budget is being used at the program level, and if it is a BAPC, which means that the budget is maintained at a contract account level. And if it is ISVD, which means that this is a revenue based in contract account, and it's not a budget based. Okay, so for this ISVD, we don't have a separate budget kind of thing. Budget not there is no budget maintained for the programs like this. Okay. Yeah, MRSL is a program code. So that in the coming sessions I'll explain you. So MRSLR, these are the program codes. So manager reseller is a program name. So shortly we'll call it as MRSLR. Hoster program will call it as HOSTER, and Surface program will call it as Surface ADR or Surface EDD. So we have a different lines of business programs. For each of the programs, we have created a 5 or 6 character code, program ID, to differentiate each of the lines of businesses. Okay. So we will move on. Okay, so once contract accounts gets created, so this is your contract account. So I'll explain you what are the T codes to display the contract account. So normally we have UP1 is for creating the BP, BUP2 is for changing the business partner, and BUP3 is for displaying. Normally, we'll not use BUP1 T code. We have different function module, as I mentioned before. So we have different function modules for one plan BP creations, and similarly, we have a different T codes for CA creation also, CAA2, CAA3. So CA1 is for creation, this change and display. So normally, similarly, CA creation, we will not use CA1. We are using this function module for creating the contract account. Okay. And if you see this contract account, this is the contract account which I have created. So it will look like this. It will have the partner number which will be assigned to that. It will have a contract account category. It will have the name, the authorization group, the currencies what you have maintained, the payment terms. Your account class is defined here. And in the payment access tab, you will see the company code which you have maintained for that contract account. What is your account payment method, whether it is a wire payment, whether it is a PayPal payment, whether it is a credit memo payment. So those details we'll maintain. So for each of the payment, we have different types of payment methods. So based on your based on the business need, we'll be creating the contract account for different payment methods. So normally a contract account will be assigned to one BP only. So a BP can have multiple contract accounts. So which means that particular business will have a different types of contract accounts, but only one contract account will always be linked to one partner. Okay. So the, for example, 3043892 partner will have multiple contract accounts. So for example, this particular partner is based on India. So can you so whenever you are having a business with the partner from a US country, or from some other, suppose if you're paying the partner from a US country company code, so there you are creating a different contract account. And if you are thinking you will be paying to the to the partner based on your Indian company code, so then you have to create a different contract account based on your Indian company code, like 1098. So a particular business partner can have multiple contract accounts, but always your contract account will be linked to a single BP. Okay. And here if you see, we'll be mentioning the main partner and an alternate payee. So alternate payee is nothing but the partner where we'll be maintaining the bank details, okay. So if you see in the business partner, you must have seen one tab which have been in the partner, yeah, in the payment transaction. So here you have mentioned one ID 001. So it's just an identification number for your particular bank details. So for this country key, bank key, account key combination, you have maintained one account ID, I'm sorry, bank ID for your business partner. So this bank ID you have to give in your contract account also. So in your contract accounts also, so that which will then only during your payment, so it will take the bank details from based on your alternate pay. So always your bank ID should be linked to your contract account. So any doubts on the master data concept, BP, business partner, or contract account? Surya, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, so master data and the contract account is not created in RMC systems. So my business partner is created from the MDG systems, or sometimes it will come from your core MSS systems also. So through whenever that any changes has been done in that particular systems, it will come to your MPP systems. Okay, and contract account is also created by the upstream system, UST system. They are using some web services, and they'll be calling our function module from RMC system. So whenever they are running the web service, it will directly call the F function module or RFC from RMC system, and it will create a contract account in the as RMC systems. That's MPP. Yeah, Vijay, I just explained you. So MDG team is the will be creating your, so we have a payee onboarding team. They will be onboarding the partners, and we have the MDG team. They will be creating the business partners. So once business partners has been created, it will flow to MPP through iDocs. Okay, and also business partners in few cases is maybe business partners with some few cases it will come from your core system also. So normally business partners will not be created in your RMC systems. And contract account is a different abstract system. UST is there, so we will whenever there is a requirement, so they will be creating the contract accounts based on the inputs from the business. Like for this partner, for so and so company code, they have to create the so they will get the details from the business side, and accordingly the UST team will be creating the contract accounts. And during the contract account creation, they will be using some web services. Web service is a different tool. So basically using that web service tool, they'll be directly calling our RFC. Just now explain the RFC which is used for creating the contract account. So normally they'll be calling this RFC and they will give some input details like your business partner, company code, terms of payment, so currency. So those details they'll give us a input. So those details they'll get from the business and they'll give us an input. And while running the web service, it is calling the function module from RMC systems, and it will create a contract account. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So next concept is bits. So bits is nothing but the billable items. Means the payments to the partner. So whenever we are suppose like we have a concept of incentive, so not it can be different. Suppose if we are dealing with the local partners, of suppose the partners are uh, uh, selling our products in the local market, so we'll be giving in a different incentive. Suppose like we'll mention that if they are selling 100 products in this market, they will be giving them 1 rupee for each of the products, like, or 1%. So, okay, so that particular percentage, so so based on that we'll create a bit. So that bit is nothing but the billable items which will come to SAP for processing. Okay, so similarly, there is a upstream system is there. There are like UST system, UST team, chip team. So for each line of business, like as I mentioned earlier, we do have a separate different lines of business, like manager is seller, hoster, direct program. So based on the each of the programs, we have a separate teams of upstream, like UST, chip team. So these people will be creating the bits are nothing but the billable items which has to be created whenever we are having a business with the partner. So whenever we have to pay some incentives, so we'll create a bit. Okay, so we normally will give the amount details, like for which contract account business partner we are creating, company code, those details, and for which program we are creating, like if it is for MRSL or if it is for hoster, and for which is the partner country. So those details we'll mention in a bit. Okay, so once bits comes to SAP, so till bits creation, it's not happening in our RMC systems. Once bits comes to SAP, then in MPP systems we'll have bad jobs for doing the billing process. We'll create a billing document based on your billable items coming from your UST or chip team, and you will do the billing. Then the billing documents will get invoiced. Okay, during the invoicing, some budget tables will get updated with your invoicing amounts. Okay, And suppose if you have a 100 USD budget for that program, and you created a 50 USD invoicing document, you have a 50 USD billable item comes in, you did the billing and you did the invoicing, and after that this particular budget table will get updated from with that 50 USD as a consumed one. Okay, so out of total 100 USD budget, you have consumed 50 out of that. Suppose next day you are getting another bid for the same program. Okay, you are having like 55 USD, and you have done invoicing for that particular thing also in the next day. So again your budget table will get updated with that 55. So now the total budget spend will be 105, and your budget you have maintained for that particular program will be 100. So now your SAP is giving a warning to you, like you see we have a program which will be running um, every day in the you are sorry, in the production systems. So during that budget authorization process, it will check, okay, whether the budget spent is greater than your budget maintained. Okay, so if that is greater, then it will put a lock at your contract account level, which means that you cannot pay that partner because you don't have the budget to pay the partner. Okay, so if you want to pay the partner, you have to remove the budget lock. So whenever you are removing, normally what business people will do is they will increase the budget to, suppose like now the budget amount is increased to 105, so they'll get the approval from the business and all, then they'll increase the budget, so then only they'll do the payment. Okay, so once invoicing document gets created, and automatically that invoicing document is locked with a P lock, that is payment lock. So normally whenever you are created invoicing in SAP, whenever the invoice gets created, it will have a P lock at the document. Okay, so P lock is nothing but your payment lock. So normally in one plan process, where so we have a separate team for approving all the documents for payment. So what they will do is they will suppose the business has mentioned to create some bits, and the UST team have sent some bits based on the business confirmation, and it has been sent to SAP and it has been processed till invoicing. Okay, then they'll get the document details, like invoicing document details from our RMC system, MPP systems. Then business will give the details to an ICM team. So ICM team will review those invoicing documents. They'll review the GL account. They'll review the some parameters on the posting documents or the invoicing documents. Then if everything is okay, then they'll release the invoicing documents for payment. So whenever you are creating an invoicing document, it will be an open item. It is mentioned as an open item because still it is not cleared. Whenever invoicing document is created, it is. Yes, for every program line of business, they do have a planned budget. They will set, there is a table that I'll show you in the next session. So there is a table where they'll be mentioning the budget amount for each of the program under some currencies. For each of the company code level, they have a budget. So whenever we are creating a contract account or invoicing for that particular program and company code, it will get updated over that particular entry. Okay, and we have some background processes there to validate that budget, how many budget we have mentioned and how many have been spent. So those validation, we have a separate budget program has been created in SAP in MPP systems, which will be running every day, and it will check, okay, after every day invoicing, whether that budget spend got increased or it get increased more than your budget maintained. So that is already checking in your production every day. Okay, so suppose there is a so now you have the planned budget is there, that you don't have any budgets at your contract account level, and you have moved your invoicing documents for payment, sorry, for ICM team for approval. So the ICM team will review your documents and it will release your payment. Okay, then you will be that. So till releasing the payment or till clearing the document, your posting document will be known as an open item. So once that is being considered in your payment run, So we have a payment job is there. FPY1 is the T code for the payment run. So daily in production we have a payment run job for each of the company code. So what it will do is it will consider what all payments are open items are there which has been released for payment, which has no PLOC. Okay, for those posting documents or invoicing documents, the payment job will consider for payments. And if everything is fine in the document, if you're giving, if you have created a contract, sorry, invoicing document with the correct company code, correct currency, whatever details, so if that is correct, then payment document will be generated. So during payment document creation, it will trigger one XML file also. Okay, so normally for your cash payment, like wire payments and all, it will create a XML file. It's XML file is nothing but your payment file. So it will have some details. It will looks like a text file, and it will have some details of your business partner, of your the amount you have paid, and your payment document number, your company code, from which partner you are paying, to which partner you are paying, from which company code of your Microsoft you are paying. So those details you will be, it will get defaulted in that XML file. Okay, this XML file during the payment process, it will get stored in some of the share path. Okay, and there is a parallel job which will run in MSS system, that is your core system. What it will do is it will go to your MPP, this share path. So and it will check of, okay, if there is any XML files has been uploaded there for a particular day. Okay, then it will consume those. If there is, if the if the naming convention and all the details in the XML files are correct, then that program will pick that files from the share path and it will put into the BCM connector. So once it move to the BCM connector, you can see the status of your payment document in your MSS system. That is your corresponding core system. Okay, so there is one T code where you can see what is your status. So after, once your file comes into BCM connector, it will be taken by your bank for validation. So what your bank people, suppose like our bank sites are like Citibank, House, Bank of America, so those people will have their they'll get this particular payment files at their end. So they will have some parameters to be validated at their end. Sometimes they will require some details like Swift code, they will require the bank account number. In few cases they'll require the country key and all. So based on their conditions only, we have given the we have prepared that XML file, and we have, so whenever that all the details are matching at their end, then they'll make a payment. Okay, when they are making a payment, they will send a confirmation mail to SAP saying ki this particular payment we are ready for making the payment, and they'll give a confirmation to SAP systems. And in MSS you can see that status. Once we get the confirmation, then our, from our side we'll get a our status will get changed to acceptance by bank, which means that the bank has accepted the payment, so they'll be making the payment at their end. Okay, and suppose if the initial validation may they find some issues in your XML file, they find some missing value. Suppose the account document number which you have which we have updated in the XML file is a wrong one, or if the Swift code is not maintained, some details they are missing in the XML file, so they will reject the file. They'll mention that this particular file has been rejected with this and these reasons. So what you will do, you have to correct those payments at your MPP end. Suppose if this is a master data issues and all, you can regenerate that XML file. Suppose if the issue is in this document itself, so normally it will reject your payment document number. So it will reverse your payment document number, and you have to correct your entries at your master data or wherever. You have to correct the entries at your RMC systems, and then you will again do the payment, and again same process. It will go, it will create a file and it will send to bank for validation. Then bank will send a confirmation. Okay. uh, what changes? Yeah, suppose if they are saying like we have a master data issue, so we have to inform the master data team, like the MDG team was saying ki this particular thing has not been updated for this partner, so you have to get the details from the business and you have to update the same. So they'll be updating that, and it will flow to our MPP through iDocs. Suppose if there is an issue in our document, so what you will do is you will suppose um, yeah, so normally we'll get rejection based on our, suppose character, suppose few cases we are getting issues like the partner name will be wrong. Suppose some partner will have a special characters. Okay, suppose we have a configuration such a way that we'll be removing the special characters from your name. Okay, and in the XML file, suppose your partner number name is like Ben 123 at Solar, something like that you are maintained. Okay, so when you are creating XML file, so we have a logic in which we are removing all the special characters. So when the file is going to the bank side, they are having the name as Ben 123 without that at. So when they're checking for the partner name or the account holder number at their bank, they say ki, this particular name is not found there, so there is no partner with this name. So they'll reject the file saying ki, this particular account number or something is different. So what we have to do is so in that case, that is not a master data issue, because in our master data in the MPP side, like the BP is having the correct name, but during our process, somewhere in the logic we are removing that special characters. Okay, so we have to understand that logic where we are removing that special characters. So for example, I'm saying, okay, so now what we'll do, we have to correct that particular program or coding or configuration in our system. Then we'll replicate this, we'll recreate the file and we'll send to them. So now then it will get created. It's not always the master data issues. It can be some config or code issues because of which bank can reject the files. Am I clear? Surya, do you
Yes,
have
yes.
any? Right. Okay. So, okay. So that is a normal process. So starting from the BP creation, contract accounts and bits will be created from the UST. Bits will be coming to SAP as a billable item, and it will do the billing, invoicing. And during invoicing, we have a budget authorization process parallelly, which will check the budget and all. If the budget is exceeded, it will place a lock at your contract account level. Okay, and if there is no, then we'll so during the invoicing document, it will create a posting document also. This posting document, you will have the GL accounts, like the expense GL account, to which GL account you have made the expense, which GL account you have credited, which you have GL account you have debited. Those details you can see in your posting document. And after creation, we'll send the posting document or invoicing document for release, for releasing the payment, like releasing the PLOC. There is a different ICM team which will release the payment. Then we'll do the payment run job. We'll do the payment document creation through the payment job. Once the payment document gets created, it will say 67 series number, and once the payment document gets generated, it will send a file. So that file will go to bank, and bank will send a receipt of the file, like if it is accepted by or rejected by, it will send us pain 002 file, will say. So it will send a reply file to a SAP. Based on the based on their reply, the status will get updated in your MSS systems. And whenever you are doing the invoicing or payment, so it will get updated. They'll have some, we have some debit and credit transactions on GLs, right? So those transactions we have to we have to move those transactions or amounts details to our core systems, because normally at the end of the financial year, all your balance sheet, everything calculation is happening under your MSS systems. Okay, so whenever you are doing some accounting creation, accounting postings in your RMC system, so those details you have to pass to your corresponding MSS systems also. So that is a different process. So what you will do is, normally your invoicing document or your payment document which have the accounting entries, so that is linked to a reconciliation key. So okay, that reconciliation key we will transfer to MSS systems. So through that reconciliation key, all your GL transfers, all your GL amounts, everything will get moved to your MSS systems. So that they are, so see, your the invoicing document and payment document which we are creating in MPP systems, RMC systems, will not be there in your MSS systems, right? So but we have to we have to move that GL balances to the core systems, because we had some accounting postings happened in our RMC systems, but at the end of the accounting year, we have to mark those expenses in the GL accounts in the core systems, because core system is considered for the balance account for doing the balancing and all. Okay, so there is a process of reconciliation transfer. So there is one T code for closing and reconciliation transfer, and we'll move all the GL balances to MSS systems. Okay, that is happening during your invoicing process as well as your payment process also. Okay, and at the same time, whenever you're creating some documents or some in documents or postings in RM system, so those details we are sending for some downstream systems also, like feed store, velocity are the some of the downstream system. It's nothing but they are the data extract system, so we will store some data in their velocity or feed store system. So normally for reporting purposes only these downstream systems they are being used, because like for some reporting purposes they need few details. So every time whenever we are doing some postings or payments in our RM system, those details will flow to the RM, downstream systems also. Okay, like all no, not all the details will be moving, not only few, like your account your posting documents numbers, your payment document numbers, your payment document details like currency amount, those details will be moving to your down system. So it's like a storage system, feeds data extract system, where your all the data flowing from MP systems will get stored in some tables, and it is flowed through some BODS extract. Some bad job is there, so through the some process it is flowing from your MP RMC systems to this velocity systems. So this is the flow chart of the complete our one plan channel incentive process from the BP creation till the payment. Do you have any doubts in these topics?
No.
You can stop the presentation for now.